Hello and welcome to Glimmer of Genius, episode 13, the podcast that brings you all the latest happenings in the Magic the Gathering community, tips, deck ideas, and even a little bit of financial discussion as well. Today's episode, though, is all about Ixalan spoilers, dinosaurs, pirates, vampires, merfolk, all that, and some more listener questions. My name's Luke and I make YouTube videos. On the line with me is level 2 judge Grant David and cardboard trader Simon Wright. How are you doing, Grant?
I'm good.
And
Ixalan!
Yes, it is all about Ixalan, which I've been calling Ixalan for the last few days, not realising it's Ixalan. And I was thinking everyone else was saying it wrong, an idiot. But no.
Wait, how did you think it was pronounced?
Ixalan.
I usually pronounce things incorrectly.
I have actually noticed that occasionally, and I never ever really wanted to say anything.
What to me?
Yeah.
No, I do it all the time.
Yeah. Without sounding strange, I found it quite endearing. You know, like how if you've got a pet, that's sort of losing it a bit like that.
I don't like where this is going.
He's saying he's going to take you around the back of the shed and shoot you in the head.
Something
Especially
like
in
that.
magic terms as well, because sometimes the wording, the words aren't.
Yeah, they're not real words.
Yeah, like Galgari, I always get the wrong way round. There's another one as well. I keep saying wrong. Kalitas.
Oh yeah.
But,
I don't like when people say Cletus because it just makes me think of Cletus Slack George Yokel from The Simpsons. So.
But everyone says Cletus.
No, so it's Kalitas, and I don't care where.
Oh, so I am right.
I always call it
Kalitas
that.
Makes it sound less like a Slack George Yokel.
I think people are doing that on purpose, though. I think they think that's funny, so that's why they do it.
Yeah.
It's not funny. I just think that's why they do
Taylor
it.
Swift Spear, that was a good one. Not so much that one.
Taylor Swift Spear. Yeah.
That was fun.
Yeah.
I find I pronounce a lot of magic cards differently to most people.
Speaking of magic cards, have you been playing with any magic cards at all, Simon, this week?
I've been touching lots of magic cards.
Ooh.
So, of course, we had the new Commander sets come out.
Ah.
So we had our Commander Day. We had a special event for anyone that was buying Commander decks. They got a free little tournament to play in.
Nice.
It was great fun. I was a bit annoyed. I wanted the Dragons deck, but we had a lot of people wanting Dragons deck. So my second choice was the Wizards deck. Then we had a lot of people wanting Wizards deck as well.
Cat deck.
I went for Vampires in the end.
Cat deck is the best choice.
That is a lie. The Vampires deck is the best deck.
No.
It just kicks off.
Cat.
I've only played with it twice, but I've played against a pot of 4 against Wizards and 2 Dragons and just owned it. And then I played another game, 3-player, and it was me against 2 Dragon decks, who did sort of gang up on me a little bit, and I still kicked ass.
Well, if there was a cat involved, he would have beaten all of you.
To be fair, I have not faced the cat deck,
Exactly.
but it's got it's awesome. It's an awesome deck, and it's got. So I was quite glad I picked up in the end. It's got one of the most expensive cards in the set as well, I think.
Oh, Citharian's Protection?
Yeah, it's also got a 2-card combo though that will kill any player.
Yeah.
Nice.
Just one player, but yeah, it's really good. It's the enchantment whenever you gain life, target player loses life.
Exquisite Blood.
But there's also a new card that makes target player lose its life total half its life total rounded up.
Yeah.
But I think you tap a vampire to kick it. If it kicks it, you gain that much life.
That card did exist before, actually.
Well, it's in my deck.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah.
Is that Sanguine Bond?
No,
No.
That's the deal damage lifelink one. Exquisite Blood's the opposite.
Ah.
So it works the same as that combo.
Yes.
But it was just in my pre-con. So I think there you go. Have this to kill any one player.
Yeah, it's half as well, so it's nicely exact, obviously.
Yeah, so I pulled that off once. That's quite fun.
That is brilliant. I like the fact that something exists in a pre-con deck where you can do the whole commander thing of, oh, don't pick on me, I'm only doing this, what have you. Let some other people fight it out, and then when one person kills another person, you can then just delete the other player. That's hilarious.
Yeah. I think I cheated it in somehow as well.
Didn't you cheat the other week as well? You said you...
No, not cheating. I didn't have to cast the enchantment to get it into play. Oh, that was it. I stole someone's dragon with another awesome card that's in the deck. Take control of target player.
Oh, yeah.
Take control of a creature, change one of its creature types to any other creature type. So I took their big dragon general, and whenever you swing with it, you get to draw cards and cast a permanent from your hand. So it was awesome.
Nice.
So I've done that. That was fun. And I also got to play one of the standard showdowns.
Ooh.
Won that. Someone lent me their Ramonket red deck for the day. So they've got to learn sooner or later to stop lending me the good decks.
But I say...
And just give me a pile of trash instead. Go, yeah, I've got a deck for you, Simon. Here you go.
You don't seem to do too badly at these things. I mean, the deck that you built out of the front page of your binder, and then I lent you zombies, and then you lent Ramonat Red. You've done a pretty good showing of these.
Yeah, last couple of months I've played 2 showdowns and 2 games days, and I've took down 2 showdowns and 1 games day. Boom. And the games I didn't win, I came second in. Would be terrible at a PPTQ. I get disqualified round 1. But apart from that, right.
Grant, what about yourself? Have you been playing any of this Commander stuff?
I did get all of the Commander decks just because I saw a thing online where you get all 4 for 80 quid.
80 quid?
Yeah. So I got that just because that's great for later. If I want to build some Commander decks. So I got this for 80 quid. Unfortunately, I haven't had a chance because I've been busy at the weekends when people were playing Commander. But I did play Modern on Monday and... No, hang on. Modern on Thursday, I think. But yeah, I played a bit of Modern and a bit of Standard, and that's been fun. My Land Destruction deck, I added some moss. That seems to be doing well. It was undefeated when I played it last, and yeah, good fun.
Nice.
You should come to the shop's next Commander Day, because it's also their 2nd birthday, and it's going to be free all day.
Oh, cool.
Cake, promos given away.
Nice.
That sounds decent. I would be going myself, but unfortunately it's the same weekend as English Nationals. So unfortunately I'll be there.
Is it Commander?
It is not Commander. It is. It's like a mini Pro Tour. I didn't realise this when I signed up for it because I just knew I was going to go. I wasn't too fussed about what the format was. I knew there'd be a draft, but apparently it's like 3 rounds of Standard. So English Nationals, for anyone who doesn't know, it's like the winner basically gets to represent England or their respective country in the World Magic Cup. So it's very competitive, and obviously they haven't been around for a little while. It's only been their WMCQs in their stead, I guess. But they're back and they're really good. It's kind of like quite a prestigious thing to try and do well at, because it's quite a nice thing to be able to say, oh, I won Nationals last year. I'm that sort of champion. For that region, it's quite nice. But yeah, the Standard it's 3 rounds of Standard, and then 3 rounds of draft, and then another draft of 3 rounds, and then 2 more rounds of Standard, then cut to top 8.
Oh, what, you've only just found this out?
Well, it was always advertised as that, but I must have not read it properly. I thought it was just more Standard on only 1 draft. So the fact there's 2 drafts in it, and I paid the early bird price as well. It's like 35 quid. So I'm going to be getting.
Bargain.
Yeah, I'm getting 2 drafts and at least 5 rounds of Standard.
If you make it that far, is there some sort of cut-off?
No, that's the other crazy thing as well, is everyone makes day 2.
I remember Nationals. I think Nationals, the last Nationals we had was just as I started playing. And it was actually in Brighton where we're based. And they're like like a Grand Prix.
Yeah. No.
Loads of side events going on.
They're also doing a Legacy and a Modern quality Legacy and Modern events Saturday and Sunday, as well as all these other side events. So they're going to be obviously silly prizes. I think they've even done this thing as well where normally it's just if you're in Nationals you get the promo, but if you compete in any one of these other events, the Legacy or the Modern big ones, you also get the promo as well, or the top 8 get the promo as well.
What's the promo?
Inkmoth Nexus.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, yes, good promo. So yeah, that's going to be good. And while we're on the topic of Nationals, quickly, I was asked by Shy on the Glimmer of Genius Facebook page what sort of main considerations are for Nationals. So if anyone's planning on going to Nationals, obviously there's going to be a lot of Standard rounds in there. At the moment, I think the decks to at least have a decent amount of practice would be Teamer. And Teamer with black for the Scarab God, which is insane. I don't know if you guys have been keeping up with the GPs and that.
No, I've seen a lot of hype about it though.
Yeah. There was just the regular Teamer deck, a GP Denver, Brian Brown doing whatever his name is, and Brad Nelson and someone else, can't remember their name. All 3 of them in the top 8 with the exact same 75 cards of Teamer. The deck just continues to be really good. It's an interesting thing about Standard in general, though. It does feel like there are certain matchups which are good. So obviously, Ramonat Red is favoured against Control, which might be hardly surprising unless they're playing a lot of White and Life Gain and that sort of thing. And Control is good against Zombies. There's these sort of things floating around. But even though that may be true, it does feel like Standard is actually in a really good space that any deck at the moment could realistically beat any other deck. Even though there are good and bad matchups, it does feel like that nothing is set in stone with the matchups you've got. Mono Black Zombies is still very much a thing, as is Ramonat Red, and that matchup is supposed to be favoured for Zombies. But if Ramonat Red just goes, 1 drop, 2 drop, 3 drop, or even just like lots of 1 drops and then just beat you to death, that game can be over very quickly, even for Zombies.
I thought the Ramunet Red deck would be very easy to play, like I did with Zombies as well, actually. But they're both very tricky. They're not as straightforward as you think.
No.
I think it's easier than Zombies, but still, there was a lot of decision making when I was playing it in the showdown.
Yes, you have to be figuring out how you're going to get the last few points of damage, because you've got the deserts and you've got some small amount of burn and you've got Hazaret as well. And I noticed a couple of people I was playing against, you're sitting there, if you go up the board, but they've got the deserts and they've got Hazaret, you still just die to that because they just throw a card at you. I think you're right. It's not just as easy as, make creatures and hit people. You've got to think of my advice to anyone playing Nationals would be play Teamer with black, because Scarab God is insane. People
I'm quite familiar with it because it's now. So I had loads of people ask me for it the last couple of days.
Yeah.
And it's a bit annoying because I kept checking the price on MTG stocks, and of course it didn't move. So I'm there going, right, yeah, it is still 12 quid. But knowing that any day it's going to pop. Of course it has. It's gone up to like 15, 16 quid now. And I think it's going to go higher because of how strong the Tamir deck is. Because at the time I couldn't do anything. I could just say, actually, no, I don't need to sell. But that's not really how I operate.
Yeah.
If someone wants to get in there before it spikes, that's fair enough. Yeah, that's popped now. And I think talking about one of the questions we had earlier, wasn't it, about what cards to look out for from the old sets going forward with standard rotation. I think any of the gods will meet that criteria.
Any of them?
I think any of them.
Even poor old Kefnet?
Yes, even Kefnet. Well, she had a lot of hype when she was announced.
I don't think it's very good.
What, with that new mythic that's been spoiled? Draw 7 cards? Whoop, whoop, whoop.
There's a card that's just been spoiled, I've just seen, which is like a reference to Gaia's Cradle. So it's a 3-mana legendary enchantment, and you get to basically do an Oath Inissa effect. But when you control 4 more creatures, it flips into a land, which either makes green mana or makes green mana equal to the number of creatures you control.
No, shut up.
It just taps for that. So it basically turns into a better Gaia's Cradle.
Isn't that breaking the reserve list rule?
Well, it's not a Gaia's Cradle, because obviously it's a 3-mana legendary enchantment, and then you have to have some creatures first. You can't.
I don't know. They reprinted it. Reserve list gone. Reserve list gone.
What's it called, Grant, this card?
Growing Rights of Itlimok, and then Itlimok Cradle of something. Cradle of the
I've even
Sun.
called it a cradle.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Obviously, this is just one of those ones that's been translated. It's not the actual screenshot, but yeah, it looks interesting. I like all the flip cards so far.
Okay, so let's move on to these spoilers then. The flip cards you mentioned in there. What was the first one that was spoiled? Treasure Map?
Yes.
They are a thing, and then they turn into another thing, like Eldritch Moon stuff, really.
But they generally change type mostly into land when they transform.
Yeah.
What do you think of the land art on the reverse of these?
I like it. It's thematic, and it doesn't look like a Yu-Gi-Oh card, which is an improvement.
That is an improvement.
I'm really excited about the set as a whole, actually. I was a bit worried when they announced dinosaurs and pirates.
How dare you?
Well, I thought it was good, but I know a lot of people's reactions are a bit like, it's a bit rubbish, isn't it? But it's not just that. There's dinosaurs, pirates, vampires, merfolk, exploring, treasure. I think it's a bit unfortunate that this is the set they decided. I was really glad they're doing masterpieces and said they're not going to do it for every set, but I think it's really unfortunate they decided to stop it with this set that should have treasure in it.
Yeah.
I always liked it from the sound of it, just obviously dinosaurs and vehicles and stuff, but I was a bit concerned now seeing all these dinosaurs, like whether they'd been planning this for ages or whether they saw just the popularity of the dinosaur expansion that was latest in Hearthstone a few months ago and just decided to jump on that. I don't know, because particularly now, I don't know whether this is a thing where they said they're going to do it, but then they just happen to have copied stuff along the way. There's a lot of dinosaurs in this set that are very, very similar to Hearthstone cards.
They might be suing the other way this time then.
Well, basically,
when was the Hearthstone expansion? Sorry, when was the Hearthstone expansion?
Ongoro Crater was the expansion, which is named after a region in World of Warcraft for those that are interested. But the last expansion for Hearthstone was all dinosaur focused.
When did it come out?
Like 3 or so months ago, I think.
Then I'll probably say no.
Yeah, I would say no. I think again, I don't play Hearthstone very much, but I think about 3 or 4 months ago. But also, incidentally, they had like these cards called quests, which obviously again is a reference to World of Warcraft, but where you do something and then you get a special card that then you can play, which is very similar to this transform mechanic when you meet certain criteria.
Yeah, but hang on. Magic had quests back in Zendikar.
Yes, but then World of Warcraft was out before that. I'm not saying the Quest thing is a copy. It's just that they've decided to have the same design where you it's a special thing that you things to then unlock, as it were. I mean, one of them. I'll give you an example. In Hearthstone, I think it's like a 2-mana 2/2 like little baby raptor thing, and then when it dies, you shuffle in a big raptor, like a 4/3 for like 2 mana, so it's just pure value. But obviously, you have to kill the baby one to get to that. While in Ixalan, you've got a 2-mana 1/1 that when it takes damage, so obviously when it dies unless you're pumping it, you get a 3/3 dinosaur with trample. So that one in particular was a bit too similar. I don't think there's anything in it, but it just made me think of it.
So you're saying that they've been raiding Hearthstone?
Well, I don't think they've been copying each other in any way, but it in terms of the whole overall idea, like no one has a copyright thing on dinosaurs. But I think that now that Hearthstone's come out and that expansion's been around for a while, there are certainly a few cards I've looked at and gone, maybe they added that onto the idea of they had originally.
Possibly, yeah. Came up with, yeah.
It doesn't surprise me that ideas bleed over into other things.
Exactly, yeah.
Not at all.
We had zombies make another breakout when Walking Dead was still big.
Yeah.
They do seem to pick up on what's popular at the time.
Okay, then, so I'm going to start with a couple of cards that I think are going to impact Constructed. A couple of obvious ones to start with would be the black removal spells. Walk the Plank, the first one. Double black, sorcery, destroy target non-merfolk creature. I mean, considering that Grasp of Darkness is going to rotate out, this is so much more and so much less than Grasp of Darkness, to the point that I think
it's nice.
It's definitely going to fit some sort of niche where, just whether it's even if it's only like good in sideboards, so that sort of effect is going to be necessary.
I think it's going to be very dependent on if Merfolk becomes a standard deck.
It won't. I don't think there'll be enough cards.
Yeah, I don't think it will be. So therefore, it can be a main card instead of a sideboard card.
Yes, it might be later on as the next set comes out. If Merfolk does then become a thing, it kind of drops off. But yeah. And then the other one was Vraska's Contempt. So 4 mana instant, 2 generic, 2 black. Exile target creature or planeswalker, you gain 2 life.
I'm not sure about this one.
I think because it can be Gear Hulk back, that's going to be nasty.
Oh yeah, fair point.
And the being able to exile gods and planeswalkers.
Yeah, it's valuable. I think a sideboard card. I don't know if it's main deckable.
I reckon
it's no good because it can only exile 1 planeswalker when you're going to be facing down 3 Jaces.
Speaking of which, Jace, this is one I'm not sure if it's actually going to be. Like, it looks powerful. Simon, do you want to talk about Jace as you brought him up?
Not really, it's Jace.
Fair enough. So yeah, Jace, I don't know what I'm wearing. Cunning Castaway.
He's lost
nothing at all.
I don't know.
So I think that's why he's wearing weird clothes. He's forgotten who he is.
Oh yeah, I don't know. Did we mention this before? I can't remember.
Yeah, it's in the story.
Yeah, he got probed.
It's on his mind. I don't know if he has or I know he's just gotten thrashing. But
yeah.
Either way, he's had a bit of a career.
Ripped his clothes.
Yeah. You know the card art for Transgress the Mind?
No.
Do you not know the card art for that?
Transgress the Mind?
Yeah.
I know the card, I just can't picture the artwork.
Yeah.
Basically, that was what happened to Jace. That sort of, invasive brain muddling.
Dragon.
From a Dragon, yeah. So yeah, he's 3 mana. He's basically old Jace Beleren casting cost, which is, I think is quite cute, really, because it's almost like he's reverted back to an earlier state, or a state where you're not quite as powerful as he has become. So I don't know if that was intentional, making him his original casting cost. So he's 1 generic, double blue, starts on 3 loyalty, +1. Whenever 1 or more creatures you control deal combat damage to a player, this turn draw a card, then discard a card. So it's a conditional loot, and you only get the loot once, not for each creature that you do damage with. So that is interesting because it's not just going to be necessarily a straight up control kind of strategy. You're going to have creatures on the board. -2, create a 2/2 illusion, a blue illusion creature token with whenever this creature becomes the target of a spell, sacrifice it. And then -5, create 2 tokens that are copies of Jace, Cunning Castaway, except they're not legendary. They're the same.
I'm not a fan of this personally.
No. So you can have two Jaces running around. you start messing about with multiple planeswalkers like the same thing. You just
I thought they were trying to reduce the amount they were pushing planeswalkers. This just seems to have made it worse.
Yeah. Jace, it seems like an interesting one because, as sort of alluding to before, I can't imagine a control deck wanting this.
No.
But
No.
some sort of aggro control, or just even aggro that's plain blue, or even just a mid-range.
Aggro Merfolk.
Yeah. Or actually, maybe not aggro. Maybe, I think this would be really good in a mid-range deck. Really good in a mid-range deck. Because you got card advantage on the first ability and the second ability as well, like making creatures. And the threat of the ultimate, having 3 of those in play would just be ridiculous. I imagine some sort of weird blue mid-range deck. Maybe Merfolk. But yeah, that's Jace, old Jace face. I'm not sure if he's actually going to see like proper play. It seems weirdly good.
He'll be, even if he doesn't see a lot of standard play, I think he's going to be quite popular just because he's the first Jace with the legendary rule. His ultimate ability is quite unique. It is unique. There's no other like it. So even if he's not a heavy standard hitter, I think he'll still carry quite a price tag.
That does make sense. I'm just suspicious that he might not do much for a while, but I reckon there's probably a deck that exists that can make really good use of him. A bit like Tamio, when I've seen Tamio in play and people using it in a deck that kind of suits it, making the most out of her abilities, then she can be really quite problematic. But just putting on any random sort of shell doesn't always do anything.
Then that's what I think Planeswalker should be like, where you don't just go, oh, I'm playing green, I need this green Planeswalker. It should be, oh, I'm playing this specific kind of deck, this Planeswalker would be really cool and spicy.
I found that recently Planeswalkers are really nice to sideboard into, just as other ways to win that are hard to deal with.
Yeah, particularly if your opponent doesn't expect them and is taking out stuff that would prepare them for them.
Yes. Okay, so Grant, what's taking your fancy in this new stuff?
Like, as I said, I think I really like the flip cards, the ones that transform into stuff. I mentioned the Cradle one that's new. I really like just the kind of flavour behind Conqueror's Galleon, which is a 4-mana 2/10 vehicle with crew 4. Basically, if it attacks, it doesn't matter if it gets through or whatever. You exile it and then transform it, and it turns into a land called Conqueror's Foothold. So obviously pirates, fight there and they establish themselves. And you either taps for generic mana, you pay 2, tap it for draw or discard a card. You pay 4 and tap it to draw a card, or 6 and tap it, return target card from your graveyard to your hand.
Wow.
So yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on there. So I just like the kind of intrepid explorers establishing themselves. Treasure map, I think people have seen, but some of the lands and some of the other like mana things that do stuff with particular creature types. So there's an artifact called Pillar of Origins, which is it comes into play. You pick a creature type and you can tap it for whatever colour you want, as long as it's that creature type. And I think it's one of the first mana rocks that generates coloured mana that is 2 mana and doesn't come into play tapped. So that's really useful.
Yeah.
One of the other transfer cards was Primal Amulet, 4 mana. Your instant sorceries cost 1 less. When you cast 4 instant sorceries, because it gets counter each time, it turns into Primal Wellspring, which is tap it for any colour mana. And if that was spent on instant or sorcery, you can double that spell. Basically, you can choose you make a copy and choose a new target.
Ooh.
So some really really nice transform cards. I think.
I'm like transform cards.
Again, stuff that just turns into other stuff. Oh, my last one I want to mention was one of the black transform cards. The one I already mentioned before, the Cradle one. That was an enchantment that transforms. And I don't know if we're going to get one of each colour, but that was the legendary green one. There was a legendary black one spoil, which is kind of greed compared to, I don't know, some other probably legacy land, I don't know. Arguel's Bloodfast, which is 2 mana, you can pay a black and 1 to pay 2 life to draw a card. But then at the beginning of upkeep, if you have 5 or less life, it then transforms into a land, either taps for black or taps and you sacrifice a creature and you gain life equal to their toughness.
Ooh.
So I'm not quite sure how feasible it will be, depending on how aggressive the format is. But obviously you get this greed effect where you pay life, you draw cards, whatever. And as long as you've got a sustainable, creature thing, particularly if you've got high toughness, like for instance that Galleon with 10 toughness or whatever, you then get yourself. Yeah, that should be quite fun, I think.
Even if you never flip that card, just the 2 mana, draw a card, pay 2 life.
Obviously, you've got greed. Yeah, it's nice.
I kind of glanced over these flip things, but they actually seem like they've got a lot of potential to be some interesting brews out there, which is always good.
Oh, one last one, just from a visual point of view. My favourite card has got to be Bellowing Aegiosaur. One, because it's an Ankylosaur, so it's the little armoured dinosaurs with the clubs, which are my favourite dinosaur. Because obviously everyone has to have a favourite dinosaur.
Yep.
But in the picture, not only is he sort of raising up and like roaring and stuff, but because of his feathers, he looks like he's wearing a little little feathery green scarf, and I quite like it.
Which one is that?
Bellowing Agiosaur. He is a white creature. Yeah, all of the dinosaurs seem to have feathers, like Goring Ceratops, who's another white creature. Just all of them have fabulous coloured feathers, and it's wonderful.
If we're talking about our best dinosaur, though, my one is Belligerent Brontodon.
That sounds amazing. What colour is that?
He's he's multicolored. He's green white. He's 5 colourless, 1 green, 1 white, but he thinks he's tree folk. Each creature you control assigns combat damage equal to its toughness rather than its power.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, so he's a dinosaur. It's like a herbivore dinosaur that likes trees.
Oh, one I think we can see play is Regisaur Alpha. So it's the same cost. Someone was arguing earlier that Samet is just better, but I think this is stronger.
Yeah.
So it's 3 mana, red and green. It's a 4/4. Other dinosaurs you control have haste, but when it comes in, you make a 3/3 green dinosaur with trample. So obviously that dinosaur can attack.
Broken.
Yeah. Oh, one I just saw pop up, which I haven't seen. I don't know if it's been spoiled recently. There's just like a couple of ridiculous value in green. You've got Ripjaw Raptor, which is 4 mana, so 2 in double green, for a 4/5, and whenever it takes damage, you draw a card. And then Carnage Tyrant, which is just it seems like a better version of that one that in the green starter deck was called. So it's 6 mana, so 4 and 2 green. Can't be countered, trample, hexproof, and 7/6.
Yeah.
Yes, they look quite nasty.
Yeah, nice.
People on the internet have been going, "Oh, control's not going to be a thing then," and this card is insane. Like all the dinosaurs you've mentioned are mental.
Yeah.
I wanted to point out as well, Bellowing Aegisaur. I don't know if you said it or not. Walking Ballista.
Yeah, there's an infinite combo if you have 2 of them and enough mana and a Walking Ballista. It was funny because one guy in the chat saw this and was like, "Oh my god, this is broken. There's another infinite combo. Like they got stuff." And it's like, no. Stuff doesn't get banned because it's an infinite combo. There's been infinite combos in Standard for ages now. Just if it's a 6 mana, 2 6-mana cards, that's not going to be a thing.
No. Approach of the Second Sun is more obnoxious than this card, and Ballista. It's like So in terms of just winning on the spot, but no, I think
you're a fine one to talk, Mr. Mill.
All I mean is like if people are moaning about infinite combos and what have you. This is an infinite combo that you can easily pick apart by just killing the dinosaur.
You can make him walk the plank.
Yeah, exactly. That's all I meant. Like, whereas comparatively, Approach the Second Suns, like they cast it and you can't stop it. Like,
I'm just imagining it trying to make a dinosaur walk the planks now. Get on a plank, dinosaur! No!
I'm pretty sure there seems to be a theme. Again, a Legacy player will probably be able to point this out quite easily. But I think the Transform cards is forming some sort of pattern between very famous Legacy lands. So there's one called Thematic Compass, or Thematic Compass rather. You pay 3, tap, look for a basic land, put it in your hand. If you have 7 or more lands you control, transform it. You either tap it for colourless, or it does the Maze of Ith effect, where you tap it, untap a target attack feature, remove it from combat.
Yeah, that's better than Maze of Ith because you can still tap it for colourless mana.
Yeah, so there seems to be a theme, at least some of these transform cards, if not all of them, where they turn into legacy lands, but obviously a lot harder to get.
I needed some sort of theme, and once you said Cradle, that sort of confirmed it, really.
Yeah, exactly.
Simon, is there anything that you're looking at that looks pretty good?
All the vampires.
All of them.
That's a good thing about getting the Vampire Commander deck. It's the only one that's supported in Ixalan as well. Yeah, everyone I look at, I go, that could go on the deck. That could go on the deck. That could go on the deck as well. So there's just like the top ones. We've got Bishop of Rebirth, 5 mana. Vigilance. Whenever Bishop of Rebirth attacks, you may return target creature card with convert mana cost 3 or less from the graveyard to the battlefield. Pretty good.
Ooh.
Marvin Fane, Dusk Apostle, 3 mana. Whenever one or more non-token vampire creatures you control attack, create a 1/1 white vampire creature with lifelink. Pretty good. All the vampires I'm looking at going, that's not bad. Not bad at all. I don't know how good they'll be in Commander because I don't play much. Well, I do, but I'm not really good at it. Oh, Sanctum Seeker. Whenever a vampire you control attacks, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. That will work quite well with my enchantment. And he's a 4 mana 3/4. He looks pretty cool as well as a vampire knight. Yeah, so loads thing I'm most excited about really at the moment, putting stuff into this Commander deck.
I'm thinking though that vampires or any other kind of aggro deck is going to struggle against like dinosaurs. Like the dinosaurs are so big and powerful. Well, they are. Without sounding weird, like
it sounded a bit weird.
Big, powerful dinosaurs. But when you look at the cards, or even that ranging raptors, a small dinosaur compared to like the what was that 6-mana one that you mentioned? Like I just don't think they're gonna like. You play a Sanctum Seeker, it's a 3/4, and then someone plays Carnage Tyrant.
Yeah.
And you just go,
I'm trying to think now of the next set being set in a cold place, and then everyone being able to quote Batman and Robin, Arnold Schwarzenegger's line of "What killed the dinosaurs? The Ice Age." Which makes absolutely no sense, but it's a very famous line.
If we see, was it Mr. Freeze? Is that his name?
Yeah, right.
If we see that in a printed,
Yeah, he will kill the dinosaurs.
That would be great. Oh, there were some other tidbits as well. I thought were quite interesting. Settle the Wreckage, which is the 4-mana instant speed. Exile all attacking creatures. Target player controls. That player may search the library for many basic lands, put those into battlefield tap, path to exile, everything. As well as that, you had the cantrip, opt, 1 blue, instant, scry 1, draw a card. I don't know if that will replace the cards in Modern for Storm.
Doubt it.
And then Duress as well. Duress is back because we're losing Transgress the Mind. So the go-to spell tends to be Duress that they reprint. So new
what
art.
Do you think of old growth dryads?
Won't be.
Oh, it's an interesting one.
It's a 1 green 3/3. However, when it enters the battlefield, each opponent may search his or her library for a basic land card and put it on the battlefield tapped.
I think it's unplayable.
It's bad, but someone was saying it's playable in Legacy, which I probably can't believe.
Oh.
Yeah. In Standard, the only deck I can conceive that being a part of is a deck that also plays that 1 mana 3/4 that bounces if you don't pay energy or something. What's it called?
Yeah.
Just like
Greenbout something.
Yeah, Rampager. Just like really low to the ground, like hyper aggressive. So they literally cannot use that mana effectively before they're just dead. But even so, imagine how with multiple of these, you just get them to that Wrath or whatever, or just kill. I don't know. I think it's terrible. I could be wrong. I'm usually wrong about cards like this, but I think it's not very good. I think Shaper's Sanctuary is good. The 1 green, whenever a creature you control becomes a target of a spell or ability an opponent controls, you may draw a card. Enchantment.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty decent, even if it's only sideboard fodder. I think that's pretty good. Oh, and Star of Extinction, 7 mana, 5 colourless, 2 red, destroy target land. Star of Extinction deals 20 damage to each creature and each planeswalker.
Horus Reckoner.
Yeah, but I mean, even outside of fun modern interactions, in Standard, Ramp's going to love this. I think it's a really nice little card.
Yeah, I'm liking the set as a whole. It's very flavourful.
Oh,
I think it's quite tribal as well. It's reminded me a bit of. I've never got to play Loring, but it reminds me a bit like Loring.
Yeah. It's also worth mentioning that a lot of players, particularly, well, the kind of players that play blue-red decks, that Lightning Strike is back and Opt is back, which is...
Lightning Strike is...
just very crappy cards.
Yeah.
And Spell Pierce. Boo.
Oh, and Spell Pierce, yeah, good point.
Boo.
Yeah, boo.
I was quite surprised to see that.
Well, it's to counter your Star of Extinction.
Yeah. All your entrancing melodies gain control of target creature with converted mana cost X and double blue.
Seen one of the dinosaurs that's been spoiled in Italian. For those that weren't aware, Italian for dinosaur is Dinosauro. Just thought, we could teach you some Italian while listening to this podcast.
Dinosaur. That's made my night, that has. Okay, so one of the questions we were asked, as I think we've talked about spoilers for quite a little while. One of the questions,
what about Deep Root Champion? Yeah. No, move on. Come on.
I'm moving. We were asked about. Obviously, this set's coming out. It's going to push a lot of old cards out of the format more than normal with the new standard rotations. Been talked about before. Lots of cards are going. So Battle for Zendikar, O for the Gatewatch, Eldritch Moon, Shadows, all gone. So with that in mind, Sean on the Facebook page was asking what we thought, or if they had any thoughts about cards from either Kaladesh block or Amonkhet block that are going to be good. I know you mentioned that all the gods are going to be good, potentially. But are there any other cards that you think are going to see?
Good at the same time, but they've all got potential to be good. I think, the red god's already gone. Scarab god's already gone.
Yeah.
I think Ronas is on the brink of going back up again.
Yeah, I agree.
The others, maybe not as much, but they've got potential. Now that so many cards have left, there's so much opportunity for these ones to shine.
Reanimator could definitely be a thing. Scarab God. has really helped with that. And you've got Scarab God. Because the problem with reanimated decks is sometimes they're a little bit all in on that, whereas Scarab God is just good on an empty board. It's kind of indestructible. The Liliana Death Majesty, which I think is going to be something to watch for as well, and Gearholtz that you want to reanimate.
Yeah.
And now you've got, if you really want to be fancy, you've got these insane dinosaurs as well.
Yeah, I agree. I think Chandra Torch of Defiance is probably going to go up. Red and some other colours mid-range will be a thing, or using it to ramp the dinosaurs.
It's already gone up again with Ramen Red. I don't think it's got room to go up again, honestly. Okay. I think it'll stay at its current price point. I can't see it spiking again.
Not going to hit its pre-release price then.
But saying that it is a 4 ability Planeswalker. So maybe
they're the good ones.
Saying that, rethinking that, there is possibility for that. I'm going to have to buy some more Chandras.
Is there anything that either of you have seen here from the spoilers that's going to link in well with cycling or things that care about cycling or being discarded from Unkept? So I'm struggling to see that, because I was looking at the cycling mechanics and like new perspectives or Drake Haven. Is there anything that we've seen here that could really help with that? I don't think there is.
Well, if anything, there's a counter to it. There's a card called Ashes of the Abhorrent, which is a 2-mana enchantment in white, which is players can't cast spells from graveyards or activate abilities of cards in graveyards, and whenever a creature dies, you gain 1 life. So I don't know if that's meant to target stuff like that, but that might slow down some of the, not cycling itself obviously, but some of the cards that interact with that.
Yeah, so I thought it was a bit of a shame, because normally you see an ability or a mechanics in a set, but then something in the next set really takes it to the next level.
Nothing.
Yeah,
no, I haven't really seen anything like that.
I just realised there's a red mythic in Ixalan called Rowdy Crew.
Huh?
Yeah, it's very good, but it looks quite fun.
Rowdy Crew, okay.
Yeah. I mean, you've got Lightning Strike for the red decks, but that's about it, really.
You've got Bishop of Rebirth, that vampire that Simon was talking about. That's fun with some cycling, I guess.
I mean, I guess there's going to be lots of potential reanimated decks or Godfarrow gift decks. Dinosaurs are always going to be possibilities, but they're in the wrong colours.
I don't know about Godfarrow's Gift. Now that it's a known thing, I think people are always going to be kind of like Dredge, vaguely aware of needing some sort of sideboard for it. I just don't imagine it's going to be, obviously it's not the same power level as Dredge, so it's not going to necessarily be that amazing. You might get some people with it once or twice, but then, like, especially at F&M level, you turn up with a Godfarrow's Gift deck, and then you do that on 1 week. People are going to bring sideboard hate for you next week.
Yeah.
I don't know if green-black energy is going to be that. And if there's nothing different,
energy will still be very good.
Teams. Yeah, as I said, teams going to.
Not green-black though.
No, because it loses Tireless Tracker, which is big.
Yeah,
and it loses Grim Flayer, any Delirium stuff.
I don't mean particular energy decks. I just mean energy in general.
Yeah. No, I agree.
It's an extra resource. It was a strong mechanic to start with, which is good. It was good to see a new mechanic being able to hold its own in standard, and it will continue to be a good mechanic in next standard as well.
I like
new card's just been spoiled, which is it's a human shaman that basically makes dinosaurs easier to cast. He's 2 mana, head. He's a 1/2. Dinosaur spells cost 1 less, and you can tap him to give a dinosaur haste. Dinosaurs, yay!
Yeah.
Rah!
Exactly.
Simon, any other speculations on cards that are going to perhaps take a hit or go up or down?
I'll tell you what was surprising: Collective Brutality.
What?
Still holding around an £8 price tag due to rotate.
Yeah,
I know it's more modern, but
yeah,
it's holding a bloody good price tag.
It's because of the kick cost, because the escalate cost. Just being able to bin stuff is super useful.
That is a kick cost. Let's not kid ourselves.
All the gear hulks will maybe not combustible, but I think all the gear hulks will go up for reasons that are just they're good cards and they're there. There'll be a lot less of a pool to choose from, but also the same reasons you were saying, Luke, about reanimating.
Yeah.
Black, blue, and green.
Yeah.
Still black. Black's still ridiculous. I can't believe it's never broken £4.
Yeah.
It's a very good card.
Strange.
Like Crested Sunmare.
No horses in this set.
No.
Life gain is I was going to make a deck around it, but I lose my favourite cards about life gain, like Lone Rider and what's it called, Pious Evangel. Although you could use Ethersphere Harvester, I guess, but there needs to be lots of little life gainy guys for I think that to be.
In that case, you want to look at the vampires.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything cheap enough though.
So I think that about wraps it up for spoilers, which means that is the end of our show today. If you've enjoyed the show, then let us know about it. Find us on Facebook, search up Glimmer of Genius, or check out our website, glimmerofgenius.podbean.com. Any feedback about the show that you have is always welcome. Good or bad, we do value your opinions. We want to engage with the community and hear what you have to say about Magic, as well as our podcast in general. And not only that, if you have any ideas or things that you want to hear us discuss on the podcast, we'll also be really keen to hear about that as well. So once again, we're on Facebook, Glimmer of Genius, or glimmerofgenius.podbean.com. Hit us up and become part of the conversation. Also, if you're interested in even more Magic the Gathering content, then check out my YouTube channel, Vincent Games, which you can find in the description below, or search up Vincent Games on YouTube. In the meantime, thank you very much for listening, and stay tuned for more.
Thank you, guys.
See you later.
Alright guys, take care. Alright.
Two, isn't it?
Oh, where's Luke?
There we go.
Okay, I don't know what that was all about. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
What are you playing at, Simon?
What? Well, I was trying to join. It wouldn't let me. We timed this badly.
Badly?
Really badly. They've just gone live with the announcement of Magic the Gathering Arena.
What's that?
New Magic Online.
No, I don't think it's quite that. I thought it was like replacing Jewels of the Planeswalkers.
Well, no one knows. That's what the big announcement is.
Ah. So what's the announcement?
No, I paused it to talk to you guys.
Ha.
No, I'm literally just about to show it.
Oh. Is it on a YouTube channel or something?
Yeah, it's being streamed live on Twitch.
Oh.
It looks like Jules, but it's going to have all the cards.
Oh, okay.
It does look Julesy.
How they should have done Magic Online from the beginning then.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Maybe. I don't like it, actually.
I think with it, though, there's quite a tension, isn't there, between what people want to use Magic Online for, because you're going to get the people that want to basically test and like grind, like do leagues and get better at the game. And you're going to have people that just want to play the game and aren't really that fussed about that.
Chat's blowing up. People going, oh, it looks pretty cool. Other people going, oh, it's just Jules.
Well, it's better than looking like a reject from 1995, to be fair.
Well, yeah.
Which is what the current system looks like.
But this is supposed to have all the cards and the history of Magic, and all the rules work correctly. Apparently, the stat works correctly. So I'm not sure what that means for collections and standard and stuff.
Who knows?
Well, people watching it will know.
Record it and go back to it later.
Yeah, I will. I don't know how to record. I'll find the link later.
I'm fairly confident that it's not going to be replacing Magic Online. That's going to be as it is for the foreseeable future, and this will just be replacing Magic Jewels, which, yeah. So there we go. You heard it here first.
Where are you recording?
Yeah, I always record.
Oh, that's a lie. That's a lie. We miss so much at the start of every episode.
No, I'm getting better now. I'm getting better.
Yeah, because that's when we have our best chats before we start recording.
Yeah.
It's true. How was your mum, by the way?